Welcome everybody. Today we're taking a look at several different artifacts. I've got quite a collection out for us. Of course, in this one you can see the eye, the nose, and then the lips of the face portrayed here. I've got them wrapped up in a towel. That seems to help some people. If you look closely at the neckline here, you can see how the neck is defined even in the carving. And as we expose some more of it, you can see how the portrait, how the carvings are just kind of made out for the portrait there. And as we expose the head, you can see how there's a hat. And you can see these may be representing different things, but from what I can tell, it looks like feathers coming down. You can see the coloration there, all the white spots. And so here we have this fella facing to the left, of course, with kind of a headdress on, this big hat, as you can see. He even has a cheekbone represented and everything else there. We've got another one here for us to take a look at as well. And several artifacts today, painted ones specifically, but took these out and showed some people in person, them wrapped up like this, and it seems to really help. So I just want to kind of show you guys this one again real fast. It's very beautiful, and you can see how the face is just poking out there, and then you can see how the hairline is represented, right? And then as we expose the head, so there's another portrait in here, and that's what that jut is, of course. And as we expose the head, you can see how this is all hair. And I'll move our camera up just a hair here so we can see just a little bit more. Different distances help as well, so you can pull your phone away and make the image a little bit smaller, and that sometimes helps. And I'll zoom in and make it bigger for us and zoom it back out. How's that? Really neat one. I really love this statue. So let's go ahead and take a look at a few of the other ones that I found today. Got some great examples of what they look like when I pull them straight out of the cache. So I'll show you one of those right now. This is still a dirty piece of the painted crystal. And what we're going to be kind of exploring on here is some of the painted clay that they pack these in. So go ahead and taking a look at it. You can see how these clay packs are on here and these red spots. So this particular red spot right here is for a portrait with the left side. You can see how the nose and the small little ripple right at this location. See how the lips are represented. The rest of this is all smooth. Just a little ripple, and then the nose, and then the red eye. And if you look closely, there's actually a little diamond shape in here. So with these clay packs and the shadows and things, you'll be able to see not only the color, but also the small little carvings and things. So being at sight, this is the woman motif with the very long hair, and there's other diamonds represented right here as well. Try not to cover it up too much for you guys so you can see it. But the hair is kind of all waving back like she's on the back of a motorcycle perhaps. And there's a few different motifs in here. We'll go ahead and tilt it up, and big nose, big chin variant, of course, right here. And the carvings on this stone are really neat. I can't wait to wash it off. Wait till you see what this is. If you guys can tell me what this is, let me know in the comments. Many of you guys are going to know right off the bat. This motif, it's just a tiny miniature version of it. And you can see the nose and the carving for the eye right there, and the same exact forehead shape. The same two spikes every single time. It's amazing. It's amazing. That straight back line, this one has the great carvings for it. See how the straight back. Of course, if you haven't guessed by now, this is the Squirrel Girl motif. It's the same one, just in a different stone. And this color, this clay pack on here, we could pick all this off, but that's like a hardened, fired on clay pack. Might have been the first thing that was put on. Many times there's garnet and things in here too. Definitely a lot of sparkly polish going on in this one. So let's go ahead and see what we can maybe see. More than likely there'll be some birds. I see some red paint over here. Just a little portrait, the little lips, even with the line for the lips, it's quite amazing. Now we have a painted eye that we can turn it like this to make a smiley face. And then you can turn it just a little more in different ways and maybe produce different eyes. Maybe an eye in the socket now. So the couple of these have all these tiny little notches, and it's almost like braille. And this is how you line up all these little tiny notches that you guys can see in the background here, those are all little portraits, every single one of those. That's what's so amazing about this art. It's hard to explain. It's hard to believe for a lot of people, but this is a very complicated, I mean, it was a book. It's a language, guys. And that's why a lot of people have so much trouble seeing it right off the bat. It's not something that we can just show you and you see first time around. It just doesn't happen that way. You have to study it for several weeks. I'm afraid to say, no matter how smart you are, I consider myself pretty smart. And so this red beak coming out on this bird, it still took me several weeks is what I'm trying to say here. So the red beak and the black eye is represented very well. It's beautiful. And then of course the small little ripples that you can see for all the little faces that are going to be coming up here. Let me get our focus there. Weird. This is how you tune in. You know, you can tune in a face. All these different little portraits here. Very curious. All right, moving on to the next one though. There's still more to see. There's little clay pack eyes on this, but the more I handle it, the more it, of course, gets destroyed. But several of them, you know, have been washed off and things, and this one will get washed off too next. So it's kind of a pre-wash inspection, I guess. So it's got a lot of that glitter and gold inside of it. It's gonna be great. So we've seen this one before, but it's a really great one, and I've got a drawing of it. But for those of you, just really quickly, the black beak of the cardinal here, and of course the eye and the crest of the cardinal is just kind of painted on this stone. And there's a little portrait of a person right here, so the bird's kind of on the head of that person. You can see how the beak kind of sticks up with the portrait as well. Several other things on this, but that's a really nice one. And then, of course, we have that really neat face that everyone's seen a few times before with the red eye in here. But let's go ahead and take a look at these painted stones here. These are kind of like fired objects. I don't think they're actually stones. The color on them is very, very bright because they were all packed in clay. And so it's really neat to see. I don't know how old this stuff is, but the colors that they used, it's almost like a sunset. It looks like a southwestern kind of red and yellow color. And this is a different style of it, different painted one. It's got, you may be able to see portraits and things on it. It is probably just another one of the effigy things, but just take kind of a peek at it. And it's a sandstone piece. So with these ones, textures, this looks like a mammoth. The textures and things on it, of course you can see the eye and the, you know, the hump and the curved trunk. And probably two little feeties too, if I move my finger there. Very cute. It's a nice one. So let's see what else. Here's a good mammoth. This is a gateway style mammoth, and he also has several other things on it. So we'll go ahead and take a quick look, but of course you can see his trunk even separated there, and it's got a great carving for an eye. There we are. That's great. Get a good shot of him here. And the black trunk. And then, oh gosh, he's so much, but let's take a look for the right side mammoth here. Let's see if we can see it. There's also a pretty creepy face on it, I think, too, but let's try to see if we can see the mammoth. He kind of faces at us, I think, so you can see the big bulbous head, and then you might be able to make out the facial features there. Perhaps you can see the eye, the wooliness of it. See, it's all painted opaque. This is a piece of crystal. You can even see the trunk, the way the trunk is shaped and stuff. Wow. Super neat. Might be small little carvings on the bottom there. Huh. Curious, huh?